Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Jupiter conjunct Chiron in the natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They're a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them, in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is if you have Jupiter conjunct Chiron in your natal chart, well, there may be a tremendous amount of exuberance and enthusiasm, which is Jupiter, in helping and healing others, which is Chiron. Now, the thing about this is, let's say, if Chiron is in Aries, you could have, it could be a lot of helping, a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm in helping and healing others with matters with courage, aggression, and even, a sense of identity, one's place, in the world. As an example, if Chiron, say, is an Aquarius, it could be through a lot of healing, helping others, a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm in that matters with, altruism or humanitarianism, or even through, astrology, or helping others with, computer-related issues or electronics. It could be, matters, with friendships and, society, and helping others integrate, with society. Now, also, too, it could also, this aspect can indicate prosperity, too, in those matters, and, helping and healing others. And going back to, Chiron and Aquarius again as an example, it could be through, computer-related, help, or astrology, or even some, people are having issues with electronics. If you have, position in that, could be a lot of, could be prosperity in assisting others as well in the process in those matters. And, another thing about Jupiter conjunct Chiron in a natal chart, it could also manifest in enlarging, which is Jupiter, matters pertaining to emotional and physical suffering, which is Chiron. Because remember, this aspect can be fortuitous for certain things, but it's also, Jupiter, as I've stated in previous videos, and I'll say it again, Jupiter can be very paradoxical, could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand issues, and it can enlarge issues with emotional and physical related suffering, which is Chiron. Now, if Chiron is in Libra, as an example, it could be physical related suffering that may be enlarged, that's associated with the lower back, the kidneys, the endocrine system, as some examples. And on an emotional level, it may be, if Chiron is in Libra, it may be tied in with relationships, or legal issues, or just having that sense of balance and peace and harmony in one's life, and fairness. Now, also, too, in-laws and foreigners, which is Jupiter, can be prominent in those matters as well, as far as emotional and physical suffering. It doesn't mean that they'll necessarily be beneficial. They could, factor in strongly with them one way or another, because remember, this is, conjunctions are neutral aspects that can have good and bad qualities with them. Now, let's say, Jupiter is in Taurus, as an example, one or more in-laws or foreigners that one or more of those persons may actually be a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be those, those that are stolid, persistent, patient, persevering, loyal, and steadfast, but at the same time, maybe very, materialistic, greedy, stubborn and obstinate as well. And also, too, there may be physical related suffering, which is Chiron, associated with the thighs, the pancreas, the sciatic nerve, or the liver, which is Jupiter. Now, going, let's say if the conjunction is in Aquarius, that could be, or the issues may be more sporadic, erratic, intermittent. They may be more nerve-related, as an example. And also, too, the deepest wound, which is Chiron, may be associated with religion, philosophy, higher education, or the law, which is Jupiter. Now, if Jupiter is in Gemini, as an example, you may have had some issues dealing with, theft, somebody stealing from you, or maybe plagiarizing your work, forging, your signature, and or it could be, let's say, because keep in mind this is the Jupiter's connected with the law, so I'm using this as an example. Another thing too is if the conjunction, is in, say, is in Taurus, it could be, higher education courses, maybe have tied in, maybe, wanting to take a college course which would lead to great financial acumen, or it could have been something Taurus related, whether it was studying for, geology, or, banking, finance, architecture as some examples. And, there's a conjunction, again, say in Gemini, could be the lack of persistence in those matters as well, where the deepest wound could be. Now, also, too, you may have tremendous optimism, which is Jupiter, in dealing with that deepest wound, which is Chiron. Now, the thing is, let's say, Chiron is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example. That deepest wound may be tied in with home, family-related matters. Maybe it has something to do with preparation for the latter part of life, matters pertaining to safety and security, protection. As some examples, maybe it was a matter of unconditional love, whether it was, the issues in expressing it or receiving it. It could also be another way Jupiter conjunct Chiron may be expressed in the natal chart is there may be an exorbitant amount of exuberance, which is Jupiter, and matters associated with astrology and helping and healing others, which is Chiron. If, let's say, the conjunction is in Sagittarius, that could even add more exuberance and enthusiasm to this, and a lot of positivity. And, let's say, if the, conjunction, say, is in Leo, that could give a lot of confidence and self-assuredness in this as well. Now, also, too, you may be someone that can teach and mentor others, which is Chiron, in subjects that are associated with sports, publishing, advertising, religion, and the law, which is Jupiter. Now, let's say, if you have Chiron in Pisces, this can add more inspiration and idealism, to these matters. It could be, where there might even be more emotion as well, or if you're doing something mentoring astrology, there may be more of an intuitive quality to it. Now, also, too, depleted self-esteem, which is Chiron, may be associated with, issues with expanding horizons, one's college education, and foreigners, which is Jupiter. Now, the thing is, let's say, Jupiter, is in Virgo, as an example. Maybe those issues may be tied in, with employment, or, criticism in those matters. It could be, being overly worried. It may have something to do, if the college education is involved, being overly, particular, maybe wasting too much time being too picky or particular about what courses to take. There might have been some rear apprehension in those matters. And also, too, keep in mind, if Chiron is retrograde, that the suffering, one may endure may be more internalized and suppressed, and there may be more of an emphasis on self-healing. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, and learn saying stay.